Good morning, Redemption Church. My name is Kayla. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Ed Litton's daughter, and I've grown up at Redemption Church. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about my history with Redemption Church. My parents moved to pastor Redemption Church when my mom was pregnant with me, so I've had the privilege of growing up at Redemption Church. A huge day in the life of my family, but also in the life of the church, was August the 16th, 2007. My mom picked me up from school. I had an audition in Hattiesburg, Mississippi for a new cello teacher, and we got in the car, we split some French fries, we split a soda, and we talked and caught up. And I'll always hold so precious those memories. My mom giving me advice on a girl who was being mean to me at school, or a boy I may or may not have had a crush on. And we were just able to talk, and I reclined my seat to take a nap, and my mom petted my hair and told me she loved me. And I told her I loved her too. And I'll always be really grateful for that exchange, because moments later her life would come to an end. That day is obviously such a massive day and a turning point in so many areas of my life, but also in the life of our church. I think about what would be to come, right? Of this kind of being a catalyst of sorts for the church to remember that this world is not our home, and that our days are not guaranteed to us. And so in some ways that became a real growth opportunity for us to keep in mind, and some came to faith because of this. And for my family, my brothers and I would grow even closer and become even more reliant on each other and deepen our friendship, right? And my dad and I would do the same, and my dad would go on to marry Kathy, and stepmom doesn't feel like the right term for Kathy, because to know Kathy is to love Kathy. All of this to say, right, this has affected so many areas of my life. Now I'm a mom. I had my son Luca 6 months ago, and at the beginning of his life, he had several big health concerns and spent, about 10 days in the NICU, and we really believe the Lord has healed him. All of his tests have come back with absolutely no conclusive evidence of anything wrong or any sort of diagnosis as of right now, and the Lord's just been good to us in so many ways. But I say all this to say, why talk about this on Mother's Day? For some, it may be a really beautiful day to celebrate your mom, but for a lot of people, this may be a really painful day that reminds you of infertility. It may be a day that reminds you of a strained relationship with a mother, or it may be the first Mother's Day you've had without your mom. For me, in the past, this has been a really painful day, I'll be honest, but I think there's so much to learn from sharing our struggles and our pain with one another as believers, right? My story doesn't belong to me. When I'm asked, I'm always going to share about this loss, about my journey, because my suffering doesn't belong to me. It belongs to the body of Christ. I have an obligation to share with you the faith the Lord has given me through my loss, the ability to see more clearly who Christ is when he bends low to hear the prayers of his children. I can see that more clearly because of the devastating losses that I've endured. And the Lord has given us this community to bind together and to cast hope for one another, to remind each other of who Christ is, who he will always be, and who he, is today. I think for everyone, for moms or not, I think about, I had my mom for 13 years, and while day in and day out you may think, my child doesn't notice these things that I do, my child doesn't notice the efforts and the endless bottle washing that I'm currently in right now, and they do. I think about every single time I interact with my son, something comes to my memory that my mom did for me, and I'm able to appreciate it more sincerely on this side of things. Or even if you aren't a mom, even just as a friend, I asked the church recently if anyone could share with me memories of interactions with my mom. People came out of everywhere to share times that my mom provided for them furniture for their nursery when they were deeply poor and in debt, or times that she brought them a casserole when they returned from the hospital, or said a sarcastic joke that she was known to do when they really needed to laugh. And I just want to say that, when you think you're showing up and it doesn't matter, it does matter. The Lord is weaving together this beautiful story in the tapestry of our lives, and He has a purpose for everything that he's giving you. And while it may feel like every day is going to look as dark as it may be for you today, it won't. And the Lord is there in the future. He is there to provide for you the story that he's already written for your life, and you can trust him with that. You can trust him with being the good kind of God he always has been and he always will be. My name is Kayla Marcelino. This is my redemption story. Happy Mother's Day.
I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby, you'll be.